All right, guys. So the audio on this part kind of got messed up because of some background noise. Basically, I was flying around doing loot drops, doing all that stuff, and I came across this 130 Ossidon or Ossidon, if you prefer. I like to call them Ossidons because that's how you would say it, like Latin medical terminology, which is my background. So right here, I'm basically talking about the area. And so I have been taming a ton of these guys since they came out. I tamed them each day. I noticed the patch changes, but I didn't do it on this server. I did it on the other one. I've maxed them. But I really want this 130. It's got fatty as a trait, which is pretty cool. We can't breed them on here unless I use a propagator. So we've really got to clear out the Yudi in particular, and then also any of the ghost dinos, which are those that I just pointed out right there, tend to really wreck these guys. Now, on the other server, I have a max rifle. I've got tech gear. I've got max armor, basically. Just, everything that can possibly help you with them. And so I can tame these at this point at about 100% effectiveness. So I decide we're going to do it with our crappy chitin armor. And we have our crossbow there, which is about like a 518, 520, something like that. Now, the Ossidon taming it's not terribly bad, I guess I would say. Um, you don't want other Ossidons around because their icicles will interfere, and it's kind of hard to tell which ones are your Ossidon and which one is the enemy one. So yeah, so here we want to get halfway torpid. I've never used a crossbow before, so it does a pretty good job, but it is doing some pretty big damage. Here, I want to kind of make myself a little area. I haven't done a lot of prep. I don't have a max shotgun. I don't have great tames for doing this. So what I'm going to do is clear all of this out. I need to get 44 icicles and 18 of the dinos. Now, my favorite dinos to pick up are babies. So if I'm trying to do this with a really high level tame that I really, really want to get the highest one, I will basically kite the Ossidon where I'd really like it to be, and I'll clear out the area. I'll make sure there's as many baby dinos as possible in the area. Baby dinos are great because they're usually pretty tanky. You can pick up mammoth babies this way. You can't normally mess with mammoths. So all I'm doing right here is trying to keep my circles as tight as possible. I'm trying to aim the icicles where I'd like to go. I'm trying to break up these rocks. Now, it can get difficult, especially on Ragnarok, taming these, because it's hard to tell which of these rocks break and which of them you can run the ball up on. You can roll up on the side like that right there. You just have to be really careful that a certain percentage of its body doesn't actually like go into the wall or it will yeet you off. So here I have a deer. Deer have been great for taming. I do really like picking those guys up. And so all I'm trying to do is keep my tames together. I'm going back for the RG. Every 10 seconds, he's going to send out these icicles. And so once you've done it enough, you can kind of, you just know when he's going to do that. Wolves are not my favorite ones. If there's a single wolf, it's fine. I really like RGs because they can heal. Whenever, I have all of my normal goodies, my max shotgun and stuff, I will strategically clear out the area by killing, say, like Udis and mammoths and things I can't pick up in the ball, but I'll leave the carcass around. It has a couple of purposes. One is I can heal the Ossidon off of it when I'm not on it. And then the other thing, too, is it'll attract RGs usually as well. So when I start getting low on dinos to pick up, then I can pick that up. So here I'm doing pretty good on picking up the tames. What I'm really trying to do is keep them in one little area. They're not tames, they're wild dinos, but I'm trying to keep them in one little area. I really want to be more this area. And now I really need to focus on picking up the icicles. So I'm keeping them all in one area. And so I'm going to go for the 31. Here I got stuck on a rock that I still don't see right there. Like I look back. Remember, I haven't leveled in speed. I don't have my tech suit, all the nice things that I'm used to having. So I'm just running ahead, trying to see what I've got. I know there's nothing back here, so I'm going to pull him back because he is pretty hurt. And also you can't shoot them immediately and torpor them after you get off. There's like a time delay. And so right here I'm checking his health. His health looks good. I'm taking him slowly back to where we want to go, but not too much because I don't want him to get too hurt because see, look, that took like half his health with the crossbow. So um, running this basically naked for me is interesting. So, I feel like as long as we get about 60%, we're doing pretty well. Right now with the taming, we're doing pretty good. We, like I said, we just kind of got yeeted off for we got stuck on something there. I'm not really sure what it is because I still don't see it here in the video after. So I'm just trying to lay out this area, collecting up these. I do look ahead over there. See, I'm trying to look ahead and see where I would rather go. I really want the deer. There's a couple of those guys over there. Things do respawn pretty quickly, which can be good, but it can also be something like a Yudi. And it's not really, they actually changed it where things are not aggroing you while you're doing this. You can see these wolves are just kind of minding their business once they get out of the ball. It used to aggro you, which was rough because it would just wreck the Ossidon. While you were trying to finish this. So I think this is really doable, especially with like official levels. The shinies are crazy difficult. You have to get almost like, it depends on the level, but you have to basically get like 70 icicles in the same amount of time, and you have to get like, I think it's like 40 dinos. So you really need to kite them like to the beach, basically. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to I'm waiting for my icicles right here, and I keep tripping over this wolf that I want to pick up. So I just buy myself a little bit of time, pick up the icicles, because I'm actually doing pretty well on the tames right here. And I'm doing pretty well on the icicles as well, for where the time is at this point. We're at what, like 120. So yeah, I'm going down here again. Not super excited that there's multiple wolves because they get the pack bonus, but I think we're doing pretty good. You do need to have a plan for when you do hit those objectives with the icicles and not the tames, the wilds, because it will yeet you off. And yeah, you need to run away and save yourself. But he's hurting right here, so I need to kind of determine which of those wild dinos I can probably kill as soon as I hop off. Where would I like to do that? And then the other thing too is I find it's easiest if you basically stand over the carcass and let the Ossidon attack you. So you'll see me do that here a couple of times. So that one we hit the objective. I'm going after this dire wolf. Um, it's low and it's the closest one, but of course it's a 140. So I get it there. And then I'm listening for the Ossidon to see if it eats it, and I'm checking its health. Here I see a ghost wolf, which I do not want to see. Ghost wolves they take reduced damage. They're an event specific wolf. They should be gone tomorrow, actually. But I wanted to get this video out so you could kind of see, not really worst case, but under less than ideal circumstances, I'm using this because at this point, if he gets into a fight with that ghost wolf, he's going to take too much damage. If I hop on him, they'll instantly stop aggroing him. And so that's what I did there. I would have preferred that he had a carcass, but you can see right there that ghost wolf is leaving me alone. Question mark? Yeah, okay. And so what I'm going to do now is move away from the ghost. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to bring the good wolf with me. There's also like a baby right there, baby wolf. So I'm gonna try and grab that stuff. And again, I'm trying to move to this new area because I don't want to be messing around with any of the ghost stuff. I think there's like a ghost RG that's kind of chilling down there. And then over here on this side, there's like a UD up ahead. There's a UD on the left. So yeah, not super great, but it's fine. Here I'm kind of thinking worst case, I'm gonna grab just your icicles because if you at least get your icicles in the time frame, then you're gonna get an okay taming percentage. It won't be great, but it'll be better than if you don't. Here my wolf has gone up there, which is a bummer. So now I know I have to move to a new area because that was the only one that I had. They did lower the amount of time they spend in your little snot ball, which is good because you can pick up the same dinos over and over and over again, but they have to have enough health to basically handle that. So again, I'm worried about his health. I don't want to go near the other Ossidons. I've heard it so many different ways over the last couple of days talking to people. Yeah, I want these deer. Like this is kind of a nice area that's got like 3 or 4 deer chilling. But again, I need something when I get off of him that I can have a carcass for him to eat. So, but I'm trying to keep the taming effectiveness up as much as I can. There's a winter drakeling right there that's a 140, which interestingly enough will come back into play a little bit later. I try not to pick up the drakelings. They tend to aggro right as soon as you get yeeted off. And they're very hard for the Ossidon to hit, and they're also very hard for you to hit. And they do like a lot of little damage that builds up over time. So I just try to avoid them. Most of the time, even if you're trying for them, they're really hard to pick up, just because of their hitbox and because of the flyer. Again, here, I've got all of my icicles, so I'm just trying to farm my last little couple of wilds. And so I don't, I've got 27 seconds here, so it's fine. Like I said, I think with the changes they've made, it feels a lot more balanced. The first day, crazy Wild West type of day. It was really fun. I think if you really like doing that, but Ark isn't, it's Ark, so the game itself is, kind of against you. So having a tame that is like borderline impossible to do is kind of I think if you practice enough, then it should come to you. I think I've probably tamed about 15 of these at this point. So there, I've reached my objective. I'm moving away again. I really want one of these for the Ossidon to eat. He really really needs health because I can't try and torpor him anymore with the crossbow that I have, without probably killing him. So the direwolf ate that deer. I need to get back to the body. I see the ghost wolf and I'm like, bro, no. Um, so I instead of messing with the ghost wolf and bringing him over there, I'm gonna try and bring him here, try and get him torpid enough so I can get on him. And obviously, I'm taking a lot of damage. My stuff starts breaking. I only have that chitin armor, and here I'm slowed because I got smacked. So we've got the frost effect, and so yeah, chitin armor gives up. Our Drakeling is right there. So if you had, if you remember from the Elder Claw video at the end, I was like, hey, there's a different Drakeling. We're not going to talk about it. This is what happened with it. So I end up back at base, and it's fine. I should have done this in the first place, but again, I was literally just flying by, and I was like, I bet I could do that. So I grabbed some of the more like real armor. I was gonna repair it, and then I was like, nah, I got that flak that I've been holding on to. So I swapped it out with that stuff because I knew if that guy survived, I was going to have to feed him some carcasses, which was really gonna do some damage. So here I'm just kind of sorting out the stuff I was saving for the boss fight, making sure everything is good, and then yeah, just getting everything on my hotbar back in order, and then heading over to where he is. Here I get kind of confused because I didn't have anything on my hotbar except for the kibble, so I was thinking for some dumb reason this stuff didn't actually like download. Here I'm like, okay, well I guess I'm just gonna have to fly. Those are the Deinosuchus breeding. Um, and here I'm trying to retrieve corpse, but there's nothing. And then my brain finally clicks and goes, oh, it's all here. It's just for some crazy reason the kibble ended up on the hotbar, but nothing else did. So here I switched to the what was that, 58 crossbow. Um, I don't know, less damage probably would have been better, but more torpor, so that's kind of what I was playing with. So here I'm just kind of putting everything back together, mostly because I know with this Ossidon's health, the second it's tamed, I'm going to need to grab it and go. Yeah, so I didn't pick up that egg. My bad. Here I just opt to just teleport back because I don't want him to die. I went back and forth and I was like, I could fly, but then I was like, oh, I really don't want to lose him. And there's, of course, a ghost wolf as soon as I go there. Again, those should be gone tomorrow. And then we have murder turkeys starting up. So, yeah, just heading back. We got everything on here. We're just going to get back at it. But again, I have the better armor now. It's probably what I should have started out with. If I hadn't had to try to feed him, that would have been really helpful. But here, I need to check his health. Here is where the Drakeling dies, the autumn one. And so, yeah, I've got the Yudi there, and Yudis, I don't think in the process of this they fear roar. They don't really do anything while you're taming, but you also can't ball them up, and so a lot of times they just really get in the way of what you're doing. And so here, I really don't want to mess with this Yudi because it is a pretty high level. But luckily this guy comes over here, and he's not really aggro to me. His health is still garbage. So I know, like, I really, really can't mess around with this. And then, of course, there's a wolf. So we go back in that same cycle of crap. I'm going to have to do this and try to not kill him. So my only choice here is this wolf, or I lose the tame. And so wolf, and I'm going to have to take the hit. So this is what I was talking about, where you can stand over it and and as he smacks you, he'll also harvest that. And so that's what I'm trying to do with finding things to basically like unalive. I don't want to hit him because I'm just going to kill him with a crossbow. This was a sketchy attempt right there, but it did work. I was trying to go for the deer. It does work, but I could have very easily hit him. So now I'm at 1.7 on the health, so I feel comfortable enough that we can probably finish this up because he was already kind of torpid. There's a lot of deer here, so I think as long as we can stay away from basically anything that's going to cause us damage. Again, not necessarily during the tame, but the second that he's tamed, because this is the last round, the second that he's tamed, it's going to bounce me off of him and things will aggro on him. And so I can't ball him up if he's taking damage. And if he takes damage, he's so low that he could still die, basically. So right here, I am farming deer. I'm farming icicles and I'm trying to stay the heck over here. So, yeah, I think overall doing it this way, not too bad. You can use rare flowers and everything will aggro to you while you're on it. I did have someone ask me about feeding it sushi, which is a pretty clever idea, but you can't access its inventory. So I think the only thing I can say is once we have Desmodus, or if you're on a server that has the S Dino variants, then you maybe could use, what is it, the sanguine elixir. If you could put on your hotbar, maybe you could hit it that way. I'm not really sure. I tend to forget to use those a lot, but someone was asking me about that on the server and I was like, so I tried the sushi. The sushi's no go, which I kind of figured. It's a meat eater, so algae's not going to work. Again, you can't access its inventory, so none of that's going to work out well for that. So here I'm working really hard to just make sure I have plenty of dinos around. I have plenty of icicles that I'm just keeping in that one little area. So that's all I'm doing is just working this area. It kind of looks like a crazy like clover leaf pattern. I tend to prefer to go one direction. But sometimes you just kind of have to change direction and do that. It's mostly just keep track of every 10 seconds, shoot those icicles at the same spot if you can. Like this ends up being like a really, really nice area. The deer, great. The RG, that's fine too. So yeah, all I'm doing is just farming up everything here. And now I've got, my dinos are done and I just have my icicles, and because they're all in this one little area, all I have to do is roll it. I was really hoping that that would be the last go, but I'm gonna have to do like another partial here. So I'm kind of planning, is there something again that I can get a carcass? There is like this guy I can take out, and so I kite this guy around. I will make sure he's following me, and here I'm gonna let him hit me so he can get the deer. He gets the deer, and then over here I saw this RG from earlier, whatever was happening over here, and I do the same thing here, make him hit it. Then he just kind of whacks me really far away. But I mean, he's at 4.4k, so I can definitely finish this out. So I actually got stunned, which this is the first time doing it this way. Again, most of my time I've done this with tech gear, which means I can, kite him through pretty much anything, get them to jump off of mountains. So, yeah, so that is the thing. I had no idea before this that they could do. The only time I'd been stunned by them before was I was playing around with picking them up with rhinos. Our server, we can't pick up shinies with rhinos, so those are definitely like very difficult. But you can kind of prepare an area and then pick them up with rhinos. I haven't tried to do that since pretty much like the first or second day they were released, so I'm not sure if that was patched. I feel like that wasn't really Wildcard's intent. Here I spy that Drakeling again, and I'm thinking I can go ahead and get myself a Drakeling replacement as well at the same time. So I was like, all right, cool. So, I mean, I lost the one, which is a bummer, but okay. When you have that little sliver, it's very hard to tell how much, there is before, you get yeeted off of it. So I don't know if it's better to do just icicles to do the dinos. I don't know. I haven't played with it enough where I'm paying attention. So here I go looking for the Drakeling. And yeah, there's a couple of ghost things here. We've got some wolves, of course, to deal with. So I just kind of, yeah, I just trank arrow them out. So, yep, there we go. I'm going to leave that stuff alone. I was just making sure that wolf wasn't coming for me because I'm going to have to haul booty to get this done. We have our new beautiful torch that we got from that deep sea drop a couple of days ago. So here I'm checking the area. I'm looking for the drakeling. If you haven't trained drakelings, you or tamed them, you need a torch. They will come find you, is what I'm hoping for. And then they get on your shoulder and they tell you to do some things. So here's a drakeling, and I'm pretty sure it's the right one. So I'm just trying to get him to get keyed in on me. But then I see the ghost wolf, and that sucks. So, but I think he's fear roared, so I think that's why he's running away like that, even though he was aggroed. So I go over here once I realize he's fear roared, to just avoid his whole situation. But now I have two drakelings. One sucks. It's a 60. One is the 140 that I wanted. And of course, the 60 is the one that lands on me first. So the first thing it wants me to do here is harvest. I was just going to go mess with the tree, but then I realized I had that sickle, which is better. So you're going to get more credit for doing that. You don't have to do as much work, in the drakeling just tame. So I tame him, I whistle him to chill out, but he still goes too far. The other drakeling comes in to wreck him. And yeah, so now I have to catch the one. I don't really care if the one drakeling kills him. It's just we don't have a lot of time right here, right? Like we've got stuff closing in on us. I just need to grab this dude. The one I want, the wild one, will not de-aggro off of that onto the torch unless, its target is gone. So here we have a wild Ossidon that has jumped down. It's an 85, so I mean not too bad, but also it's not going to tickle. So, and of course the drakeling jumped on me right then because I was thinking about throwing out Ugly Betty and taking care of that, but that is not what happened. So here I'm literally just trying to get this done, get him caught, and get pieced out of here, because I've done what I needed to, which was to grab the 130 Ossidon with the fatty on it. So yeah, so all my time playing around with that definitely worked out just fine. I think we just end up having to do this one thing here. Stuff's breaking, and yeah, we're just gonna finish taming it. I find making taps the easiest and the most effective way to do the crafting with the drakelings. All right, whew. So we're back. I should have gone with my better armor in the beginning. I'll go and fix that up. Um, yeah. So that is basically, I would say, as close to like naked Ossidon taming as I would get. I think the taming effectiveness was like between 60 and 65, which is kind of like my average right now. Um, yeah, so I came back and I switched to the heavier durability. I knew with it being cold, it would be fine. Also, it was a good way to kind of test that armor, to kind of see the durability for the boss fight. So I will be fixing that. That's not where that goes. So yeah, so we need to look at our Ossidon, which even though I have bred them extensively, I have not ridden one. I know, it's super crazy. I was just really busy getting this stuff together. So I have it unlocked, I think. Oh, is it Smithy? Oh, it has to be like the real Smithy right now because it's so new. So let me build that Smithy. There's that. Okay. Um, and there was a 130. I wanted to make sure we got something that was pretty decent, and it had fatty on it too, which will give us, what is it, extra armor as you put levels into food, I believe is what it is. It doesn't cost very much to craft it. 200 fiber, 150 metal ingot, and 380 hide. Again, that is just for the primitive saddle. I was able to find like a 74 and a 174 saddle, after looking at tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of drops. They came from the snow area here on Valguero, and it was I got the first one in a purple drop, and I got the second one in a red drop. I do not remember if there were rings or not. Honestly, I looked at so many that it didn't really seem to matter. I feel like the purple one did not have a ring. So yeah, so let's check it out. They did buff the health, so 10,000 is what this one's at. It's a 173 off of a 130, so that should have been 130. Should have been closer to 200, but it's fine. Right now with the way the taming is and the way people are working on it, that's pretty good. Let's see how much we do per level. I know I'm going to need to do this, and again, it's boosted on here, so it's difficult to say. So 3,000. So there's big jumps here. Yours is probably going to be 3,000 on your server, but it does go up in health pretty quickly. 398 to, yeah, melee does the same thing as well. And then stamina, yeah, so also, like, as you level them, they're supposed to get different traits, longer claws, more muscly body, stuff like that. Just looking at its abilities real fast. I'm not going to do anything super crazy. Let's just go beat up some stuff. There's some aloes over there. I get a drink of water. Alright, and so we have icicles at the bottom, which is left and right. Right, then left. Okay, it is right, then left. So you're gonna shoot those out, and for running through them, I know they do AoE damage and they slow you. So there's that, and then C is gonna be snot balls. Do I spit them? Or no, I just... Okay, so can I roll these guys up? I cannot. That's my default damage. I'm pretty good AoE. So he does kind of a left and right together. So yeah, definitely better than David. Partly why I didn't mess with him originally was because everything was just such a mess on him. What level is that one? 85. And then harvesting. We harvest okay. Do we harvest? We harvested those brains, so you know, pretty standard harvesting situation here. Got a bunch of levels off of that, so let's go ahead and let's make him chunky. Obviously, we're gonna be super bloody now. 50k sounds pretty good. Melee, and again, the melee here crazy boosted. I'm gonna go to 1,000. I'm gonna leave the movement speed alone. I know it bothers some people how slow it moves, but I think it moves okay. Also, it's got the omnidirectional. You can kind of strafe back and forth, which is super cool. So we're doing 950 now that we have more levels into that. We've got our jump. I don't know what else. Do we have an R? No. Do we have an X? This is our X. Okay, and then C. Oh, right, the snot ball. Why is it 0 of 4? Oh, because that's, I don't have anything in it. Let's see, where's something I can grab? Also, fun fact, I found out the other day that a galley will yeet you. Will I destroy the rock? I do destroy the rock. I can get this horse. But yeah, there's a galley, and I tried to roll one up while I was taming, and it just kicked me. Actually, I'm gonna go for this trike. I think I can get to it before the diplo. Oh, I can't do the adult. But it killed the adult? Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I need to go see more about that, but this guy obviously needs to heal. Hopefully we'll use him for something. I don't know. I wasn't really planning on taming them, but it's so hard on this map right now because there are 500 at all times. So it's kind of inevitable. There's no greeting on them, and again, like I said before, unless we're using a propagator, which is how I did it, and I will be doing a video where we play around with the Supermax guys. But let's see. I am super bloody, but let's go ahead and do some kind of zoom out situation. Nice, looking good. There we go. Nice run. And that'll be it for this time.